It's a normal day on Earth. Well, in one part at least, at the end of the dawn, the inhabitants of the planet come to life. The species of the Earth has a natural ranking system. He hunts or hunting. But one type has managed to stand out from the rest because of its fearsomeness. Intellectually, they have become the rulers of this world. The kind that have nothing to fear but their own. A non-stop killing machine for humans. Beautiful people have been around for a while. The first humans began to appear about 6 million years ago on the continent now known as Africa. These early humans were like monkeys, except they could now walk on 2 legs instead of 4. This is an important step for human evolution, since we now have 2 free hands. We can use other purposes. Homo sapiens began to migrate out of Africa, and they are now the only surviving species of the genus Homo. Blood humans have a lot of them. In fact, if you were to remove the blood vessels from a human body, stretch them into one long tube, it would kill that person. That tube would also be 100,000 miles long. The loans are very high because the House of Man has a nice quality with a person who is used for human luggage and around 70 square size of half tennis. It will kill people. Carl Sagan once said that, I quote, "We are made of star stuff," but when it sounds like something. Although the components of our bodies come from exploding stars or supernovas, how much of our body is made of star matter? The average human body has 7 octillion atoms that make up 7 and 27 zeros. Now to find out this, we need to go back to the beginning of a large bank. In fact, honesty is not realized from heaven, or if he had a beginning. Let's go with the Big Bang. It goes like this: not long after the universe came to be, subatomic particles assembled into hydrogen and helium, the 2 simplest forms of atoms. These 2 elements came together and gave birth to the first star. All things are heavy like iron and your blood from these stars. The hydrogen and helium that we have, and subtracting that from the 7 octalanes, means that we have no helium in our body. In about 4.7 octillion hydrogen atoms, so 7 minus 4.7 gives us 2.3 octillion 3 from the star. In other words, humans are more than 30% of stardust. Until life will find another location. Someone is the most intelligent civilization in the physical universe. We have come a long way in our progress, and our achievements continue at an increasing pace. But in the beginning, rapid advances in the use of stone tools first appeared around 2.5 millions of years ago. The first evidence of controlled firing dates back 4,000 years. Compare this with recent developments, and that's a whole different story. It is only in the last 5,000 years or so that humans have gone from inventing written language to the moon. This should give you an idea of how important this product really is. You can write your current thoughts, your knowledge, your wisdom, and future generations can become wiser in less time just by reading. Basically, humans now have the ability to save and load whenever they want. Exercise is a very important activity for a person to be healthy. Usually, the stronger you are, the better you will feel about building muscle mass or getting into shape. Repeat a certain movement over and over to increase your strength. The general idea is that you have to move around, or what a 2007 study tested 3 groups of people for 2 weeks. The first group did nothing out of the ordinary. The second group exercised exactly 3 times a week. Now, the third group was told to just imagine that they were doing the same type of exercise as the second group 3 times a week. The control group that did nothing saw any difference. The second group that exercised saw a 28% increase in strength, which was unexpected. But the third group that just waited exercise found 24% stronger. Almost no members really find out how and why it works. We really don't know. 15% of people do not have the palmaris longus muscle. To see if you have it, extend your hand and touch your fingers to your fingers. Now as you rotate your hand, you will see a thin muscle in the middle like this. If this is not, you are one of 15%. When we wait for the most urgent things in the planet, does not seem to be higher in this list. But when it comes to performance and endurance, it's a different story. In fact, by far, humans are more powerful than almost any other animal on the planet. The differences in our bodies suggest that millions of years ago, running to death was a survival strategy used by primitive man in the African savanna. For example, those who run long distances, our body can wash to adjust the temperature, which means that we can keep running fast for a long time. Most animals cannot do this. So once their internal temperature reaches a certain point, they are forced to stop or at least slow down. We can also breathe at a very rapid rate compared to many other animals. Basically, the human body is a well-functioning machine. Finally, some human bodies, in the same way as fireflies and wild animals, illuminate their surroundings and attract potential partners. Humans also shine in the dark. Human bioluminescence is a side effect of chemical and metabolic reactions in our body. In fact, all animals emit a small amount of fire as a result, but the light we shine is 1,000 times stronger than what the human eye can perceive. Throughout history, humans arise and let them define it. We started as hunter and those who find. We are always in our feet. It's important for our survival and our daily work. We can't watch YouTube videos about the dangers of sitting. We sit down if we want to rest and eat. But as technology develops, we become lazy. We started to sit a lot more. Take me as an example. My job and many of my hobbies require me to sit for days on end. However, in my defense, I do other things to prevent the negative effects of sitting. I think it turns out that sitting is a big health risk. Even if you work out to try to walk around, the benefits of exercise far outweigh the negative effects of sitting. It makes you more risk of heart disease, higher risk of diabetes, gives you back and neck problems, and weakens your bones a lot, especially in your legs because they are not used at all. When you sit down, or the most terrible truth is this, reduces your life. This study occurs since 8 years, revealing if you sit for more than 7 hours a day, you have a higher risk of dying to those who sit with more than 2 hours a day. Researchers say it's the only thing we can do to prevent it. This is by not sitting, just side training. It is true that sitting is slowly killing you. It is seen here, the planet is like peace. This large area slowly rotates, providing everything we need to survive. Or, it seems to be more faithful to think that in all history, that is the only planet, that is our universe. Beyond heaven is as unimaginable to them as beyond universe is to us. It seems almost indestructible. In fact, nothing as small as a person can have any effect on this great planet. We live at home. In the last 40 years, the Earth has lost half of its life. During this period, the population increased from less than 4 billion to 7.2 billion. If this is not enough to convince us that there is something wrong with the way we live, we may be wondering if something could be wrong. But let's go further. Forests cover 31% of the Earth's surface. They produce vital oxygen and are home to millions of unique animals and people. It is clear that we have to get rid of them. We have managed to cut down half the world's forests, and we are getting better and more efficient. In other words, we win, and we win against the weather. As I mentioned earlier, we are turning our oceans into acid through a process called ocean acidification. And the worst part of it all is why we do it and who benefits from it. We don't want anything more. There are enough resources for everyone to survive and live a comfortable life.